Git Worktrees have been in Git since 2015, but not many people use them and no one really talked about them. But now they're everywhere. Every AI dev workflow thread, every Claude Code tutorial, every parallel agents guide. So why now? What happened? Well, it's because AI agents change the math. When an AI agent is running, you can be blocked making any other changes in that code base. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, or even more. But Worktrees lets you stop doing that. You can run 3 agents in parallel, all in their own branch, each in its own sandbox from the same repository. That's the unlock. So a Git worktree is just another checkout of the same repo in a separate folder on its own branch, sharing the same single .git database. So that means you don't have to clone the whole repository and maintain a separate .git history. It becomes more lightweight, especially with tools like pnpm that share node modules, and each worktree will have its own file state and commits. And if one worktree commits, all the others see it immediately. If you're doing this manually, the key commands are git worktree add, then you give the folder path and the branch name you want to create. Git worktree list will list all the worktrees you have checked out on your machine, and git worktree remove and the file path to remove that worktree from your machine. Before AI agents, worktrees were mostly used for emergency hotfixes. You could quickly fix prod without having to stash your work. But now the use case is very different. It really helps with parallel agent-driven software development. And that's where the real power is. Agents can be slow to run, gather context, and reason, but once they're running, they're very productive. And running them sequentially will take a lot of time that can be avoided with parallelism. Generally, it's best to have each worktree work on a separate part of the code, as worktrees do not actually solve merge conflicts. So for example, you could have an auth refactor in one worktree, UI changes in another, and tests being written in a third. Another cool use case is actually running separate worktrees on the same spec and comparing the results. Because the language models are undeterministic, every generation on the exact same prompt can lead to different results that you may prefer or dislike. And this is a huge unlock for architectural or UI decisions. The mental shift is important. You need to think of yourself not as the person writing the code, but more as the conductor. Each agent will hold its own context, branch, and state, and you review and steer the system. So most people working on worktrees are working in the command line interface. They could have 3 worktrees in 3 separate terminals and 1 agent running in each. But there's a few issues with that people don't mention. There could be duplicate dependencies and binaries needed to be built, .env files, secrets, and credentials that don't get versioned and checked out. Old worktrees can pile up if you don't clean them. And each worktree could mean another IDE, another terminal window. And once you start running more than 3, the coordination becomes a true bottleneck. That's why at Augment, we're building the agent development environment for today's way of agentic coding. We call it Intent. You can easily create new workspaces. Each workspace gets its own worktree. You can easily coordinate agents talking to a coordinator agent. Each background agent works off the same living spec. And instead of juggling folders and terminals, you get a single surface where you can easily see and manage multiple workspaces, each of their branches, all of the running agents, and any recent activity, and notifications that help guide your attention. Setup scripts like installing dependencies, environment variables, can be configured to automatically run when a workspace spins up. And you can switch between workspaces instantly, archive them when you're done, and delete them when they're no longer needed. With Intent, we aim to bring all of the best practices out of the box in an easy, streamlined user interface. It's currently free to download at augmentcode.com/intent. Bring your own agent, Claude Code, Codex, Open Code. The link will be in the description, but also leave your comments if you have any thoughts or questions.